getting closer to 15,000 subscribers on this channel. And I am doing a $150 Amazon gift card giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video, and like this video. Stick around until the end of this video and I'm going to get into more detail about the giveaway itself and how you can win. So yesterday, I popped out to Value Village because in Ontario, the stores are open again and we can go safely, social distanced, with masks on, all of the above. And so I visited Value Village and I got several books and I wanted to share them with you as well as all of the other books that have been piling and accumulating on my bookshelves. I'm very eager to dive right in. Shall we start with thrillers? The first thriller I want to share with you is And Now She's Gone. This was on my Amazon wish list, and Donna kindly sent this to me. This just arrived this morning, and I couldn't be more excited to read this. I have never read this author before. I don't know if this is a debut or what, but Abby over at Crime by the Book loved this book. This was in her top 10 of 2020. So I cannot wait. This might be the next book that I read. And Now She's Gone follows a missing woman named Isabel. It is up to Gray to find her. She's been, I think, hired to find this woman, but she feels a little reluctant because it seems that Isabel went missing on purpose. She tried to escape her life. And as she uncovers the secrets of Isabel's life, it gets more and more complicated. And it's like this cat and mouse game. I cannot wait to pick this one up. So if you guys are new here, every single book haul that I do, I try to read the first line and see if it's going to be like a 5-star first line or not. So let's read the first line of And Now She's Gone. She had to do it. Not a 5-star first line, but I'm intrigued. The next two were both kindly sent to me from Flatiron. This book is one of my most anticipated releases for 2021. It is The Palace of the Drowned by Christine Mangan, who wrote Tangerine, which is like this beautiful blend of Gothic literature and literary thrillers. That is what she does, and that is what she does best. And this book is coming out in June of 2021, so we have a little bit to wait, but I can go ahead and read it now, which is unbelievably exciting. So this follows a woman named Frankie. It's 1966, and she is an author. Her first book did unbelievably well, but since then, the subsequent books that she's come out with have not been reviewed very well, unfortunately. And the latest book she came out with just got a scathing review, which led her to have a bit of a breakdown in public. She decides that she's just got to leave this life. And so she ups and moves for a short period of time to Venice. And when she arrives in Venice, a woman named Gilly suddenly appears. And Gilly is a fan of hers and really loves her and kind of follows her around. And there's something off about Gilly. And then a flood happens in Venice and they're all stuck together. I can't wait. She writes such amazing female tension. So I know this is going to get absolutely crazy and unsettling. She's so amazing at writing unsettling stories. So I can't wait to read that. Let's read the first line of Palace of the Drowned. Prologue, Rome, 1966. Outside the Roma Termini station, she came to an abrupt halt. Not a 5-star first line. And now we have to talk about Dear Child, another book that was sent to me by Flatiron. It sounds incredible and was blurbed by Alice Feeney, which really will sell you on this book. Listen to this. If you read only one thriller this year, choose this one. Room meets Gone Girl in this gripping novel, which will haunt you long after the last page. Deliciously dark, original, and beautifully written. I loved this book. And that totally sold me on me desperately wanting to read this book. Dear Child follows a woman in a windowless shack in the woods. She manages to finally escape her tormentor along with a young girl. She calls herself Lena, and Lena was a girl who vanished many years ago. She has the scars that match up with Lena's scars, but the family, Lena's family, show up to reunite with their daughter and take one look at this woman and say, oh, that's not her. Who is she? What has happened? This little girl who's traveling with her, which I imagine is her daughter, knows secrets that she isn't telling. It just sounds so incredible. Who is this girl? What happened to her? What happened to Lena? I've got to know. So let's read the first line of Dear Child. Student 23 missing in Munich. The Munich police are searching for clues relating to the whereabouts of Lena Beck, 23, from Munich, Heidhausen. Not a 5-star first line, but it still sounds really good. Okay, we're moving on to a couple of books that I recently purchased from Chapters and Amazon, I think. This first one you guys will be very familiar with if you watched my Shop With Me video, which I will have linked in the description box below. I ended up picking up The Burning Girls by C.J. Tudor. This is her latest book. I thought I was done with C.J. Tudor, but the premise of this, sucked me back in, and I ended up buying it. This follows the dark history of a place called Chapel Croft. In this place, 500 years ago, there were women burned at the stake for being witches, which obviously they weren't witches. And then 30 years ago, 2 teenage girls disappeared without a trace. And then most recently, the local vicar was found hanging in the church. And we follow Reverend Jack Brooks, who is a single parent of a 14-year-old girl. And they move there and are greeted by all of these mysteries. He gets a very strange welcome package, which include an exorcism kit and a note that warns, but there is nothing covered up that will not be revealed and hidden that will not be known. And he's left to his devices, and he's left to figure out what is going on, what sinister, crazy things are happening in Chapel Croft. It sounds like such a page turner, and I cannot wait to pick this one up. So let's read the first line of Burning Girls. Prologue. What kind of man am I? Again, not a 5-star first line. We're still looking for our first 5-star first line. And might come with the next book. This is Beneath the Skin by Nikki French. You guys know how much I adore Nikki French. Oh my goodness, if you haven't picked up Blue Monday yet, you're breaking my heart. This follows 3 women. We have Zoe, Jennifer, and Nadia. And they couldn't be more unlike one another, except for one thing. Each and every one of them are being stalked and hunted by a man who wants to kill them. And he sends them incredibly creepy letters, violent sounding letters, and he's just sitting back enjoying their torment. And I believe we have to follow these women trying to survive. It sounds so gripping and disturbing. And I know it's going to be well written because it's by Nikki French and they are just the best. So let's read the first line of Beneath the Skin. In the summer, their bodies catch heat. I feel like it's a 4-star first line to me. I'm intrigued. Are the bodies alive? Or are the bodies dead? That really determines whether it's going to be a 4-star or 5-star. So it has to be 4. Okay, now we're moving into my Value Village portion. I went to Value Village and I did some damage. The first book that I picked up is 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson. Now I'm slightly hesitant. I had it in my hands and I was nearly about to put it down because this is about a bookseller who just so happened to write a list of the 8 perfect murders in 8 famous novels. Unfortunately, there is a series of murders who look almost identical to these 8 perfect murders in these 8 novels, and it's based on this list that this man had originally written. FBI agents come knocking at this former bookseller's door who had written this list of 8 perfect murders, and they need his help to discover who the murderer is. I kind of am nervous about reading this because I want to read those 8 books with those 8 murders, because apparently this book completely spoils those books for you. So I'm a little nervous, but it does sound incredible, and I really like Peter Swanson's writing. So let's read the first line of 8 Perfect Murders. The front door opened, and I heard the stamp of the FBI agent's feet on the doormat. I don't know if that's a 5-star first line. It's intriguing, but not 5 stars. Next up is Our House by Louise Candlish. This was blurbed by Ruth Ware, which really sold me when I was in the Valley Village. She said that this is nail-biting from the first line to the very end. Our house plunges the reader into one family's terrifying, plausible nightmare and twists the knife straight up to the very final page. So this book follows a woman who is walking home one day, and when she arrives at her doorstep, she sees people moving into her house. And it's terrifying because she didn't sell her house. She very much still lives there. She's lived there, in fact, for years and years and years with her husband and their children. And she also can't find her husband, and she can't find her children, and she's been abandoned, essentially. She doesn't know where they've gone, where he's taken them, and who are these people trying to move into her house? It sounds so bizarre. What a bizarre predicament to be in. So let's read the first line. Friday, January 13th, 2017, London, 12:30 p.m. She must be mistaken, but it looks exactly as if someone is moving into her house. I think that's a 5-star first line. It sucks you in right away. Last but not least, in the thriller category, I picked up a book that I have already read but really enjoyed. And this hardcover was just calling out to me to have on my shelves. This is Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. I intend to read a lot more Jennifer Hillier because this was absolutely wonderful. This follows a woman who has lost her child. Like literally, she was at a market. Her child vanished and hasn't been seen for either a year or 2 years. The trail has gone cold. She does have a private investigator looking into it still, but there's really no news. And she is unbelievably depressed. Her marriage is hanging on by a thread, and she's recently found out that her husband is having an affair. And she dives into who this other woman is, and everything kind of links together. I really, really enjoyed it. So I will read the first line for you of Little Secrets. Pike Place Market is a tourist trap on a regular day. Definitely not a 5-star first line. Shall we move on to some historical fiction? I've got 3 here for you. 2 were gifted to me. The first is The Street by Anne Petrie. And this was gifted to me from Barry for Valentine's Day, which was so thoughtful of him. In this book, we follow a Black woman named Ludi Johnson. She is a newly single mother living in Harlem, and she is doing everything that she can to essentially bring the American dream to herself and also her young son. And she is met time and time again with roadblocks on the way. And apparently this really focuses on the hardships that Black female working class women faced at this time. And it sounds incredible. So this is The Street. I will read the first line for you. There was a cold November wind blowing through 116th Street. It's not a 5-star first line, but I think this is going to be a really amazing read. Next is a book that Donna got me. Donna, like, seriously spoiled me. Thank you so much, Donna, if you are watching this. She sent me The Prophets. And this book was so exciting to me to get in the mail because Simon of Savage Reads basically started out 2021 saying that this was his favorite book of 2021. It's like gone down in one of his favorite books of all time, I believe, and it does sound absolutely amazing. This follows Isaiah and Samuel. They're two Black men who are enslaved and they love each other. They are in a relationship and everyone is fine about it until they're not. Until one day another slave actually speaks up and says that this is immoral, and a lot of people get involved with this, and suddenly something that was so pure and so beautiful has been shamed. And it is about Isaiah and Samuel and their love and how in the world they're going to maintain it in this setting. It sounds so sad. I feel like it's going to be beautiful yet sad. So let's read the first line. You do not yet know us. It's not a 5-star first line to me, but I am so eager to read this. Okay, and last but not least is a book that I picked up at a Value Village, and that is The Last Train to London. It sounds incredible, and it's been on my radar for quite a while. This follows two young Germans. It's 1936. Hitler's popularity is very much rising, and we follow a young boy who is Jewish living in Germany, as I said, and then we also follow a girl who is Christian, but her mother writes for an anti-Nazi newspaper. These two kids, I believe, escape along with 10,000 other children. They are basically transported from Germany to Britain, thanks to one Dutch woman who went above and beyond to rescue them. And it is their journey together. I think that is based on a true story. I feel like I remember that this woman did this. So let's read the first line. The time before, December 1936, at the border. Stout flakes softened the view out of the train window, a snow-covered castle on a snow-covered hill, ghosting up through the snowy air, the conductor calling, Bad Bentham. This is Bad Bentham, Germany. Not a 5-star first line, but it's very atmospheric, which I enjoy. All right, we'll move into nonfiction. This is another World War II story. And Barry just bought it for me this morning, just 'cause he came home with The Boy Who Followed His Father into Auschwitz, a true story of family and survival. So in this book, it is 1939, and Gustav and his son are arrested by the Gestapo and are sent to Germany. They are Jewish, they're sent to Germany, they're sent to a concentration camp, which they miraculously survive. Unfortunately, they're told that Gustav, the father, is going to be transported to Auschwitz, which means nearly certain death. And our main character is Fritz. And Fritz just cannot imagine letting his father go. And so he decides to go with him. And this story is based on Gustav's secret diary that he kept for years and years and years. And I just think it's going to break my heart. What an amazing decision to make. I'm really worried that Fritz does not survive. I'm nervous. Okay, let's read the first line of the prologue. Austria, January 1945. Fritz Kleinman shifted with the motion of the train, shuddering convulsively in the sub-zero gale roaring over the side walls of the open freight wagon. That's a really good first line, but I don't know if it's 5 stars. Oh my goodness. Okay, and now we've got 2 horror books. The first, I mean, is it horror? I don't know. I've heard that this is the blend of horror and thriller, but I've heard good things about it, guys. This is The Return by Rachel Harrison. So this follows the story of a girl, a young woman named Julie, who goes missing, and everyone thinks she's gone for good except her best friend Elise. She knows that she will come back, and she's right, because 2 years after the day she went missing, Julie does come back, but she comes back a very different person. She is emaciated, she has like sallow skin, she has really strange appetites, and Elise and the rest of their friends are left wondering who this woman is, who Julie is, and even what she is, which sounds creepy. This does sound more like horror than thriller. What do you guys think? So let's read the first line of The Return. I also love this cover. I love a fluorescent pink horror book cover. And the first line is, "What do you mean she's missing?" I like that first line. I think it's a 4-star first line. And last but not least is a book that I don't think I can do a first line with. This was kindly sent to me by Magali. She is so sweet. She sent me this. She sent a little book for Nora. Just the sweetest, sweetest woman. Thank you so, so much for sending this over. How much fun does this look? This is Classic Tales of Horror, and it is literally that, just filled with all sorts of horror short stories. There's even a full-length novel in here. So obviously, like things like The Telltale Heart is in here. The entirety of The Turn of the Screw, The Body Snatcher. I can't wait to dive into this. I'm thinking I'm going to save it for October and maybe read a short story a day. That sounds like a lovely way to spend my October, my spooky season. So thank you again, Magali, for that. And those are all of the books that I have recently acquired. I am so lucky and I am so eager to dive into all of these. Let me know in the comments below if there are any books on here that you've read and loved. Don't spoil anything, please. And don't tell me if you absolutely hated it. Well, you do what you like. But let me know if you've read any of these. And also let me know if there are any books that you've acquired recently that you've been really excited to pick up. I would love to know. Hope you're doing well. And I'll chat with you soon. Bye, guys. All right, with 15,000 subscribers just around the corner, this is your chance to win a $150 Amazon gift card. It's in Canadian because I am Canadian. And I hope that one of you will be able to buy all sorts of lovely books from your wish list with it. Now, in order to win, you need to first be subscribed to this channel, like this video, and also leave a comment in the comments below. After we hit 15,000 subscribers, I am going to pick a random video, randomize the comments, and pick a winner. So the more videos you watch, the more comments you leave, the more chances that you are going to have to win. Good luck to all of my bookish friends out there.